Cheers. This is Robert Steinbach, Bright Nursery, Elgin, Illinois.
I walked in. This is doesn't do. Tell us what it is, Robert. What?
Okay. For years I had fish tanks, and I find fish tanks boring today. Boring.
Yes.
I hate cleaning glass, so this does not require cleaning glass at all.
What's up, fish tank people? Dustin's Fish Tanks bringing it to you on a Sunday, baby. A Steinbach Sunday. How's everybody doing? I hope you're doing well. In today's video, we're gonna talk about what happens when the legend Mr. Robert Steinbach comes to visit me down here at 3.0. We're gonna talk about his place. We're gonna talk about my place. We're gonna talk about what he taught me, but it's Sunday, it's Species Sunday. We're gonna talk about what he brought me as well. Very few people in this world can talk smack to me about greenhouses. Robert Steinbach was one such person. Let me give you a little backstory on Robert Steinbach. Many years ago, we used to do these things called live events. This is where multiple different people could gather in large groups in one small indoor location and do whatever they wanted to do together. Also called IRL, or in real life as the kids on the street call it. At one such IRL event, I had a guy come up to me that was wanting me to come out and see his place.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
This man was different. He was old, he was a little hard to understand. But he handed me a really sweet specimen of one of my favorite plants. So I decided to head out the last day of a trade show and go check out Robert Steinbach's house. I drove about 40 minutes away from the aquatic experience and pulled up to a place clearly owned by a man who was in love with ponds and aquatic plants. I could see the steam coming off of many ponds from the road as I pulled into his driveway. Not to mention multiple greenhouses. When I walked in, I was greeted like this.
Cheers. This is Robert Steinbach, Bright Nursery, Elgin, Illinois.
He's so, look at this, folks. I mean, I walked in. This is doesn't do. Tell us what it is, Robert. What?
Okay. For years I had fish tanks, and I find fish tanks boring today. Boring.
Yes.
I hate cleaning glass, so this does not require cleaning glass at all. Look in the water, and there they are in all their glory. Plants, beautiful plants, and beautiful fish. There is no filtration. There is no carbon dioxide added. Notice the fish. The fish are constantly breathing, giving off carbon dioxide. It makes the plants grow that way. Everything's growing in soil. No gravel, soil only.
How many years did you teach biology?
49 years in Elgin, and for about 56 years altogether.
Okay. Just putting a little context on the individual.
Yes.
Let me get a little different angle for this, Robert. Let me slide past you. Yeah, wow, man. And this is 18 inches tall, 12 feet by 5?
That's right.
I was taking notes, and just over here there's another one, but we'll get to that one.
Yeah.
So these Echinodoros, give me a little, you know your species a bit crazy, do a quick tour of the species.
Most are Echinodoros uruguensis. There's one of the most beautiful of all the Echinodoros. Notice the long narrow leaves, nice texture because of the veins. And in the middle, here is St. Elmo's fire. This thing has aquatic aerial leaves in the summer, and here are the first new aquatic leaves for the winter months. Eventually it'll be all red, all red. The aerial leaves will turn to slush.
As if that wasn't enough, he also had multiple aquariums in his basement. He also had his own strain of red snails that he had been procreating himself, as well as his own line of Steinbach guppies that he's constantly worked on the strain to give us nothing but red. You see, Robert Steinbach, like myself now, does a lot of things that are viewed from the top down, so the red guppies are great for all the applications that he uses.
There we go. He's in there. I wanted to see people get the shot of you in the lair here. All right, so can we start with your fish, Robert? Because you...
In addition to raising plants, I also raise fish. The main fish I raise are colorful fish.
Because?
Because the bottom is black, bottom of the pools are black, even the pools outside are all black rubber. and a normal fish does not show up well. The swordtails here are all very carefully selected for about 5 years for redness. They're not like you buy in the store.
Love the Vallisneria short.
The guppies are carefully selected for, first of all, they're blonde guppies. Every last fish has a red tail, and I'm still improving this strain.
Over here.
Here's a ramp. We're getting the plants.
Ah, I didn't even figure out what the hell it is.
The water lilies in from outside.
Ah,
In
man.
the spring they go out, in the fall they come in,
Wow. Okay.
as opposed to carrying up and down the stairs.
Ah, brilliant. I was wondering why I had to, yeah. Huh.
This is growing an LED light, and it's a night blooming tropical lily. It has red leaves and beautiful red flower. The summer leaves are going bye-bye, but the aquatic leaves, the winter leaves, are developing very nicely.
And one thing that I think is absolutely worth noting for Mr. Robert Steinbach's setup is this. While he did not have them when I was there, this man has peacocks. Peacocks, yes, the crazy designer big back-tail birds living in a greenhouse in their own little cages, and the waste from the peacocks feeds the giant bed of awesome lotus that he has. And yes, the closer the lotus are to the peacocks, the bigger and better the growth is. How sweet is that? So needless to say, when Robert Steinbach said he was going to come down to Lexington and check out my greenhouse, I was a little bit stoked. And if you like this type of video, make sure you hit that subscribe button and that notification button so you'll get more of them as we pop them out for you. And a quick random fish tank god note here. Coincidentally, Robert Steinbach is of German descent, if you couldn't tell by the last name Steinbach. His family was originally from Leipzig, Germany. I am also of German descent, and I actually lived in Leipzig, Germany for 13 weeks. Ein bisschen Deutsch sprechen vielleicht. So yeah, me and Robert got something going on. Now on to my place. Okay, Robert hits me up on a Saturday morning saying, hey man, I'm gonna be down Sunday. Sunday is family day, that ain't gonna work for me, all right? My wife and kids are home, leaving to go hang out at the greenhouse. Yet another day away from the family is not gonna fly. But I say, why don't you come down later in the week? I get a phone call on Wednesday at 11. This man is on the way. He is just north of Indianapolis. Figure, oh, he'll be here around 3:30, 4 o'clock. Like all good things, my man shows up 10 minutes till 5 on Wednesday night. This man is 81 years old, and I got him shuffling around the floors of a wet greenhouse and checking it out. I'll be honest with you folks, I think he was a little bit impressed. We got a lot of species that he hasn't seen or hasn't seen done like this. So, yeah, it's cool. And then it cools it off real quick, and then this one.
There's
What?
up and down as opposed to, oh my goodness.
Yeah, forget the, no, I had the choice between the flip out crappy ones and I got the guillotine ones.
I worked in graduate school. I worked in the herbarium at Florida State University. After that, I became an ichthyologist and studied aquatic fishes rather, all over the state of Florida. And every place when collecting fish, I also identified the plants in the area to make a connection between the plants and the ecology of the plants and ecology of the fish. The local folk in Chicago call this thing the bubble plant. The
Bubble plant?
You put carbon dioxide in the water, it goes bubble, 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 bubble. You remember it?
Bubble plant?
Yeah, bubble plant, yeah. Anyway, it goes very easily. Put in, see a tub like this, any container like this. Put soil in the bottom, put the stuff in the bottom, lay this on top of the soil, pat it down, because we cut the soil, and then let it sit like that for a couple of days. You get roots all over the whole thing. Then put it underwater, and it'll grow up like this in about 2 weeks' time, this big. And it's the most beautiful thing I've seen.
That's awesome. That's a propagator right there. That's awesome. Is it a 4-gram plant?
Looks like it's pretty tall.
Could be. There's another thing called scissors, you know, chop, chop, chop.
I never heard of those.
Yes.
Scissors? What are these things you speak of? But it's Sunday. It's Spigot Species Sunday. Check out what Robert Steinbach brought me. Look at this thing. And he also was impressed with the fact that we have a number of different vowels. He's also a vowel guy like myself. And check out what Mr. Steinbach had to say about how vowels reproduce. There's male and female Vallisneria.
Yes.
How do they reproduce?
There's several male plants and female plants.
Okay.
The male plants have a flower that opens, a flower bud that opens underwater. Individual flowers float to the surface. They float along the surface of the water, across the lake or across down the river.
Okay.
The female flowers, by contrast, the female plants make flowers that go spiraling up to the surface. The male plants come down to the female plants. Once that happens, the female plant has a spiral develops on the stalk, on the peduncle. The result is the flower is pulled underwater with the male plant on top of the female plant, and they have sex underwater.
They have sex underwater.